From Governor's Comedy Club in Levittown, this is Sports Bash presented by Ticketbash.com. Ticketbash.com, where memories are made affordable and where you'll never pay a service fee. Sports Bash is also presented by the Ryan Anthony Head Start Fund, a group of like-minded individuals trying to raise awareness to our future generations of all possibilities of success other than just college. For more information, visit www.lookwhomadeit.org. Sports Bash is brought to you by the Embassy Diner, located at 4280 Hempstead Turnpike in Bethpage. Every customer is considered family at the Embassy Diner. Mention Sports Bash, get a free dessert with your meal. By Living Legends Memorabilia and Collectibles in Rockville Center, Long Island's go-to store for sports, entertainment, and political memorabilia since 1996. They're also available for charity auctions. Mention Sports Bash when you come in and get a free autographed photo. Give Warren a call at 516-826-4000. Stay tuned later in the show to find out about the Living Legends item of the week. By Bearcat Billing Service, your trusted partner in medical billing. Experience the Bearcat way, personal, professional, and tailored to your needs. Give Gary a call at 516-796-2400 and tell him Sports Bash sent you. By the Marty Lyons Foundation, the official charity of Sports Bash Media. For more information, go to martylyonsfoundation.org. And by Collaborate Studios, a content marketing production facility. For more info, call them at 516-509-8277. Well, hi again, everyone. I'm Peter Schwartz. The phone number to call right now is 516-465-3990. That is the number to call here on Sports Bash. Make sure you are subscribing to Govs Comedy Club Podcast and Sports Bash Media on YouTube and following us on Facebook and Instagram. Later on in the show, I'll have a recap of the Yankees press conference from yesterday that I had a chance to attend at Yankee Stadium as the Yankees introduced one of their newest players, free agent pitcher Max Fried. I'll also be joined by Notre Dame long snapper Reno Monteforte, a Long Island native who went to Kellenberg High School, the Fighting Irish playing Indiana tomorrow night in the first round of the college football playoff. I'm going to be joined at around 1:40 by Robbie Sabo from Jets X Factor. If you have been following what's going on today on social media, you know that there was another blockbuster story about the just stupidity that is the New York Jets with their owner Woody Johnson, and we're going to talk to Robbie because there's a connection with Jets X Factor that was mentioned in the in the story, and we'll get to that in just a couple of minutes. We're also going to play Stump the Wiz. We'll take a look at this week in sports history, and we'll check out the Sports Bash Media poll question of the day. Before we move ahead with today's show, I want to go back to Tuesday, and what a wonderful first installment it was of FOP, which is Friends of Peter. And so this was my idea to once in a while invite what we are going to call an FOP, a friend of Peter, to sit in for the hour and co-host the show with me. And we had a wonderful time with Amy McGorry from News 12 on Tuesday. She was funny. She was energetic. She was outstanding. We had a blast. Tony, I think you would agree.
I would.
She was just a breath of fresh air here in the studio. We had a wonderful time. Embassy Diner brought lunch for everybody. It was just a cool show. And to have Amy, and she is certainly, I joked that she was on the short list of FOP candidates, and she remains on that short list because we will certainly try to do that again. Now the question is, and I have been getting besieged by messages on my Twitter, on my Instagram. People are texting me. People are calling me. Who is going to be the next FOP? I want to be the next FOP. You don't ask to be the FOP. I ask you to be the FOP. Like, this is not, that I joke on the show all the time, this is not a dictatorship, it's a democracy. But when it comes to that, it is a dictatorship. And I decide only who the next FOP is. Now, I can tell you that I am in agreement with a candidate for FOP. Now, we don't have a date that this is going to happen yet because there are some mitigating circumstances that we have to get through. I have agreed in principle with a good friend of the show. He was a guest on the old show at the airport on LA News Radio. And Kevin Coveas, Long Island native, who was a contestant on American Idol, He was on the old show back in the day. He has agreed to be an FOP. Now, I don't know if he's going to be the next FOP or the FOP after that, but here's the issue. He works in an office. I'm not going to say what kind of office it is. He still does his acting and his singing and theater stuff. He still does that on the side, but he has a real full-time job. So here's the deal. He wants to come in and do the show. The problem is he's got to get a day off from his job in order to do this. So this is my plea to the boss for Kevin Koveas, is to please, can we work out something after the holidays where he can get a Tuesday or a Thursday off so that he can come in and do Sports Bash with us? I think it'll be great. He's funny. We had him on the show. Wiz is going to join me later on in the show. He'll remember how great Kevin was, and I'll ask him about it when he joins us for Stump the Wiz later on in the show. But that's who we're working on next. Now, there could be another candidate that pops up that we would have to get on because of scheduling before Kevin. And this is not going to be an every week kind of thing. This is going to be like, like Saturday Night's Main Event relaunched this past Saturday at the Coliseum on NBC. And they're going to do 4 of them a year. Now, I think we're going to have more than 4 FOPs in a year. But we're not going to do it every week. We're going to spread it out. We don't want to make too big of a deal. I mean, it is a big deal, but we don't want to get it repetitive to the point where, like, oh, you got an FOP on all the time. Like, it's not going to be that way. And by the way, Tony, and I think that name is stuck because nobody else has come up with a better name for it, right?
I was actually about to ask, are we allowed to call it a FOP?
A FOP.
A friend of Peter.
As long as you don't insert an L in there, because then it becomes a flop, and then we're in big trouble. But
Good answer.
But I don't think Tuesday was a flop. I think it was
not at all.
I think it was a huge success. So, in any event, we are looking for the next FOP. We think it's going to be Kevin Koveas. We just have to work out the time, and hopefully that will happen. In the meantime, we move on to today's show, and we're looking forward to having Reno Monteforte on from Notre Dame in a little bit, and Robbie Sabo to talk Jets X Factor. And we want to give out the phone number. Phone number is 516-465-3990. We'll get to the phone lines in just a minute. But I have to start with the Jets, and we're going to talk more about it with Robbie Sabo coming up later on in the program. And I've told this story before. I told it on Tony's show before we brought Sports Bash here. I told it on the old show. People who know me know this story. My father, may he rest in peace, and I miss him terribly, love him to this day, and I know he is looking out up in heaven, listening to the show, watching the show, and looking over the family. So that goes without saying. And I generally followed a lot of things that my father did in his life and in my life so far. But one of the things that I did not follow in my father's footsteps is our football fandom. My father was a diehard Giants fan, to the point where there was a September Sunday when I was younger and I wanted to go to a Yankee game on a Sunday afternoon, and it was September. I don't remember who the Yankees were playing, but I remember saying, Dad, can we go to the Yankee game on this day? I think maybe it was Jacket Day. It was like some fakakta promotion that I really wanted to go to the Yankee game that day. So he gets tickets. We go to the Yankee game. Now, I don't realize it yet at this time. Excuse me. I don't realize it at this time, but it's week 1 of the NFL season. So my dad, being the diehard Giants fan that he is, brings this, when I say little TV, like now it would be considered like a big screen TV, but it was this little, and remember, this is the 80s, the late 70s, early 80s, like this little portable television set that literally, like if you were having a barbecue and you were cooking up a barbecue, you would have it on a table and it had this little tiny screen on it and you would watch it. Not the Sony Watchman, because I had the Sony Watchman. Like now if you were at one game and wanted to watch another, you watch it on your phone, right? So my father brings this small television with him to the Yankee game so he could watch the Giants season opener while we're sitting there in box seats at the Yankee game. I said, Dad, what are you doing? Why are you bringing that in the car? I want to watch the Giant game while we're at the Yankee game. But we're going to the Yankee game. It's opening day for the Giants. I got to watch the Giants, right? Like, all right, whatever. Here's the problem I'm having. My father made the mistake of taking me to a Jets game in 1977 for my first NFL game. Shea Stadium against the Buffalo Bills. I knew I was in trouble that day when Pat Leahy was injured and Tony Linhart was filling in for him and missed 2 extra points in the game. Oh, wow. And the Jets lost 14-12. But for whatever reason, I got hooked. I was at an NFL game for the first time. I became a huge Jets fan. And my father now has to be looking down from heaven and laughing his ass off at me. How stupid are you, son? And I am, because I could have had 4 Super Bowls. I could have had 4 Super Bowls.
Could have.
Right? I legitimately have one because I was a year and a half old when the Jets won Super Bowl III. But it's not like I literally have to watch a DVD of it once in a while to make sure that it really happened. Oh, geez, the Jets actually won a Super Bowl. It's been torture. Absolute torture being a Jets fan. And any Jets fan would admit the same thing. Absolute flippin' torture. And for the last 25 years, that torture has escalated because of this owner, Woody Johnson. And now comes another story from The Athletic on the dysfunction that is going on within the Jets organization. With this guy putting his fingers all over the football operations. We find out today that the Jets, and I believe this because I trust Diana Rossini, I trust Zach Rosenblatt, they've both been on the show before, I trust them. We find out today that the Jets were trying to negotiate with the Browns on a trade for with the Broncos, for Jerry, he wound up going to the Browns. The Jets were trying to get, Joe Douglas had a deal in place to get Jerry Jeudy from the Broncos to give Aaron Rodgers another weapon. The deal was agreed on, but Joe Douglas has to go to Woody Johnson and get it approved. Woody Johnson's kids, who obviously play Madden, maybe his grandkids, whatever it is, but kids involved with Woody Johnson, told Woody no trade because Jerry Jeudy didn't have a high enough number on Madden, on the video game. Wow. The Madden rating wasn't high enough to warrant making the trade. So Woody Johnson nixed the trade. They could have had Jerry Jeudy earlier in the season. You believe this nonsense? That you're listening to your kids playing. Could you imagine a kid, because of Madden basically being the owner of a team? Come on. What else was in this story? Oh, here's the other one. When the Jets were making a draft day trade, and they could have gotten the 256th pick in the draft, second to last, Woody Johnson told Joe Douglas, because the same team had 256 and 257. No, we want 257, the last pick in the draft, because I want us to have Mr. Irrelevant. And so the Jets picked the guy with the last pick in the draft, who's not on the team anymore, but the player that the other team picked at 256 is an active member of the roster now. What is going on with this team? And listen, if you follow me, you know I don't usually get like this on a show. But it's enough already. Hire a football guy. I don't care who you hire. Whoever they're interviewing GM candidates now. Hire the guy you want to hire and stay the F out of the way. I can't take it anymore. It's like torture. I'd rather go to the dentist and get all my teeth pulled out than being a Jet fan anymore. It's ridiculous already. Oh, and there was another thing in the story. In 2022, Mike White, playing with broken ribs, Jets quarterback at the time, has a lousy game, goes into the locker room, throws his helmet in the locker room. And Woody Johnson saw this and went up to him and said, I am allowed to curse on the show, right?
Yeah.
I don't normally curse. I may have to just do it in this case.
It's okay.
It's all right?
Yeah.
All right. I apologize. Woody Johnson saw Mike White throw his helmet and said something to the effect of, "You should throw your helmet. You played like shit." The owner said that to the quarterback and then later apologized. What are we doing here? This is the owner of an NFL team saying that to his starting quarterback who's playing with broken ribs?
Somebody give Peter a hug.
I mean, I need a bottle of water. Wiz, get your hands off me. There's only one person that can console me right now, and it's my wife, and she's not here. She's watching the show back at home, at work. I mean, this is crazy. And I'm going to calm down when I have Robbie Sabo on the show in a little bit, but maybe our first phone caller of the show can calm me down a little bit. Rob in Lake Success is on Sports Bash. Rob, hello, my friend. Happy holidays.
Are you with me there, Pete?
I'm here, yes.
Oh, you know what? I don't know if I could calm you down because I'm a Giant fan, and it's amazing, and I hate your passion because it's insanity. Number one, I must say, it's great that I'm so glad I'm getting to do this opportunity to talk to you because you are incredible.
Thank you.
I didn't get to hear your other show on the other station. I was sleeping, but if I did...
Most people are at that time. Most people are, because Rob is pointing. I hosted overnight on WFAN the other night, so thank you.
And I wish I would have heard it, but I did hear bits and pieces of it. Here's my thought going forward. Number one, we went to that 81. I lived it as a Giant fan because I started in 1968. My father was going to games in the 30s, okay? And he brought me up on the Giants, and I stayed with them. But remember that 81, we talked about that Green Bay game.
I was at that game. I was at that game, yes.
And you were there, and I was there, and I'm a Giant fan rooting for the Jets for the only time probably in my life. And I know
because you needed the Jets to beat the Packers.
Yes,
the Giants beat the Cowboys. The Giants beat the Cowboys the day before, and then you needed the Jets to beat the Packers for the Giants to get in the playoffs.
Absolutely, and I'm screaming in next section 42. You know, come on, let's go Jets! And the Giants are in. And the Jets fans are saying, Giants, what are you talking about? And then I went on to the other point. But here's what I want to throw out at you, buddy. And I want you to. I brought it up to you on Twitter. 2 points, a Yankee point and a Giant point. I'll go to the Yankees first.
Yeah.
If they sign Alonso, which I think it would be the greatest. I'm not a Yankee fan. I'm a Red Sox fan. But I'm not a Met hater, but I obviously have my feelings towards what the Yankees are trying to do here and how good a team they are. They're already better than they were last year getting Max Fried, okay?
Yes.
All they need is Fried and Cole to win 2 games in the playoff series, and you know, the two of them will be able to win 2 games, and you can move on.
I think they need another bat. I think they need another bat, and I think they're going to get it.
You must get Alonso. You get Alonso, that's equivalent. That's a poor man's Soto. You're going to get in that bandbox 40 to 45 home runs. Here's my last point, because I know you got a big show. I want you to hear what you have to say. I am a big fan of getting Sam Darnold for the Giants. No quarterback project. Trade the pick. Get in the coach Flores. Trade Bryant. I know he's suing the Giants. But you know what George and Yogi made up? There's no reason. Bring this guy in with the quarterback. Trade the picks. Because you don't need to get another quarterback project. You could get a stockload of picks, and you could build the team that way. And that's the direction I would go with a Giant fan. And you should get Alonso. You should be pushing that. People.
I want it for no other reason, too. It would kind of make my wife and kids cringe because they're Met fans.
And you know what? It would kill that. And get Minaya. If you get Minaya, you don't win the Super Bowl. The World Series. You get Minaya as a pitcher. Your pitching staff will be off the chart.
Well, we already have Omar Minaya. He's a special assistant to Brian Cashman. But I know who you're talking about, Sean Minaya.
I just said, you get Sean Minaya from the Mets, and you get as a pitcher, and you get Alonso, you win the World Series. You're done. You're done.
I'll take that. I'll take that. Rob, happy holidays to you, my friend.
You too, buddy.
Thank you.
By the way, I'm throwing my hat in on that FOP.
Oh, you know what?
I know you don't want to hear that on the show right now.
Let us at 1:19 on this Thursday point out that Rob from Lake Success has inquired about being an FOP. Now, I don't normally take inquiries.
I think I'd add to the show. We'd have a lot of fun.
Well, let's see. We will run it past the executive committee. What do you think?
You go, buddy, okay?
All right,
have a great show.
Thank you.
Talk to you soon.
All right, lots to come. Coming up on the show, we're going to have my recap of the Yankees press conference yesterday, and that'll be followed by Rito Monteforte and then Robbie Sabo later in the show. We'll be back with more Sports Bash right after this. Hi, I'm Peter Schwartz.
And I'm Vinny Tickets.
We want to take a moment to talk about our fantastic sponsor, the Embassy Diner.
Embassy Diner has been a beloved staple in the restaurant industry for over 50 years. And the great thing about it is when you walk through the door, you're not a customer, you are family. Every visit promises to be filled with warmth, love, and respect.
And here's an extra treat. If you mention Sports Bash during your visit, you enjoy a free dessert on the Embassy Diner.
Come on down to the Embassy Diner, where great food and great company are always on the menu.
Visit the Embassy Diner, located at 4280 Hempstead Turnpike in Bethpage. Welcome back to Sports Bash. I'm Peter Schwartz here at Yankee Stadium as the Yankees held a press conference to introduce free agent pitcher Max Fried. What are your thoughts on pitching in this ballpark? I think you've had one start here. Your thoughts on pitching here in the Bronx?
Extremely excited. There's no bigger stage than pitching in New York, and I've been here for a couple series. I got to throw my first time last year. I'm still looking to feel what that feels like to be able to throw under the lights, because I got a Sunday day game. So I'm really excited, but there's a different feel when you step into the stadium and you feel the energy and the buzz, and I can't wait to kind of feed off of that.
Of course, the Yankees are all smiles getting the free agent lefty. Here's Yankees manager Aaron Boone. Aaron, when you add a guy like Max to this already good rotation, what does that do to help push everybody else on a day-to-day basis?
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the things you always hope that kind of happens organically on some of the best teams you play on, or some of the best team cultures and environments that you create, that you gotta create every year. You can't take it for granted, where there's that internal competition too that goes on, that whether it's in this case the starting rotation, where those guys are kind of pushing one another, one guy handing it off to the next guy, wanting to outperform the next guy. When those things kind of happen organically, and again, that's not a given, you got to work at that every year. Those create those opportunities to where you can then tap into something really special.
It's not easy for any pitcher to pitch in this ballpark behind the Yankees Stadium, so I asked Max Fried what it's going to be like pitching here in the Bronx. Max, when you saw the Yankees get to the World Series, did it start to get into your mind that perhaps there was a chance you could wind up being here?
I think at that time, probably not specifically, but you look at the team and the run that they were able to make, and it's hard to get to the World Series. You have to have a lot that goes right, and it's a really good ball club with a lot of the same guys. So I just want to be able to do my part to try to help get back and get over the hump.
After the Yankees lost out on Juan Soto, general manager Brian Cashman was charged with rebuilding the Yankees for 2025, and he says so far so good with Plan B. Brian, after the initial sting of losing Soto, how happy have you been with Plan B, so to speak, and the moves you've been able to make?
Yeah, I don't know about happy, not happy. The job is just to try to find the best way in the marketplace that's available in front of you to improve the team. We had a great run in 2024. It's going to be a different team in 2025 because we have, we've made some trades now, and we've lost obviously some high-end players, including Juan Soto, but not just him, Clay Holmes and Tommy Kahnle currently is a free agent. Gleyber Torres is a free agent. Timmy Hill's a free agent. All these guys played, real important roles to where we got last year. So every year your team is different, and the intent always is to find a way to rework it, where somehow you're giving yourself as good a chance, if not better, as you move forward. And so the conversations are leading us certain directions. Happy with what we've done thus far, but recognize that the competition in our division alone is rather daunting, and and obviously everybody's going to try to do everything they can to take the World Series title away from the Dodgers. So got a lot of heavy lifting that we're doing currently, but more to be done.
Of course, Max Fried wasn't the only topic of conversation here at Yankee Stadium as the talk shifted to the Yankees' acquisition of Cody Bellinger. Here's Aaron Boone on what Bellinger brings to the table.
One of the first things he told me without me even broaching the subject was, by the way, I don't care where I play, wherever you need me on a given night, center, left, first, whatever it is, I'm happy I'm in the lineup, and I think it's also a testament to the kind of player he is, that he has a lot of confidence and he's shown that in his career, the ability to go play at a really high level at a lot of different positions.
And General Manager Brian Cashman was more than happy to bring Cody Bellinger here to the Bronx.
He checks a lot of boxes for us, and so I'm happy that, again, when we lost, for instance, to Juan Soto, we lost the left-handed balance portion of our lineup, so it's nice to continue to add some choices there, improve some defense, but again, more work to be done.
And that's a wrap from here at Yankee Stadium as the Yankees formally introduce their new acquisition, left-handed pitcher Max Fried. From Yankee Stadium, I'm Peter Schwartz. More Sports Bash coming up right after this.
In 1982, the Marty Lyons Foundation began with a single heartfelt mission: to bring moments of joy and hope to critically ill children by granting wishes that make their dreams come true. Since that day, we have touched the lives of over 8,500 families, raising over $43 million to grant wishes that offer a beacon of light in their darkest times. These precious wishes cost an average of $6,700 each, and your support is crucial to our mission. Every donation, big or small, makes a difference. And with 76 cents of every dollar going directly to supporting our families, you can rest assured your support truly changes lives. The Marty Lyons Foundation operates 11 chapters in 14 states now, working tirelessly to reach as many children as we can. This dedication goes hand in hand with our commitment to transparency and accountability, earning us top ratings on Charity Navigator, Great Nonprofits, and Candid, which underscores our dedication to those we serve. The Marty Lyons Foundation grants wishes to children ages 3 to 17. And what really makes this foundation so special is our willingness to grant not only a first wish, but also consider a second wish to a child who continues to battle a life-threatening illness. We stand by these children, offering them hope and strength through the power of dreams, giving our children the courage to wish for more.
What's your purpose in life? Is your purpose in life to live in the big house and drive the nice car? No. Your purpose in this life is to make it a little bit better for those that follow and realize that we live for today to see a better tomorrow.
Visit MartyLyonsFoundation.org to learn more and get involved.
Good. Okay. All right. 3, 2, 1. Welcome back to Sports Bash. I'm Peter Schwartz. Big night tomorrow in South Bend, Indiana, as the college football playoffs will feature Notre Dame entertaining Indiana. Should be a great atmosphere. First round playoff game on a Friday night on ABC at 8 o'clock Eastern Time. And I want to welcome in to the program starting long snapper for the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame and a product of Kellenberg High School here on Long Island, Reno Monteforte. Reno, it's Peter. How are you?
Peter, how are you, man? Doing great. Yeah, super excited. Big day tomorrow. Going to be awesome.
Yeah, it's going to be outstanding. Looking forward to seeing the game on television. It's been a great season for the Irish. Obviously, you had that little blip on the radar early in the season, but for you guys now on a 10-game winning streak going into this first ever first round playoff game against Indiana, what's the feeling around the team as you guys get ready to try to play for a national championship?
It's excitement, man. I mean, obviously, since that one little blip, every week has been a playoff game. So it's been awesome to just continue to go to work with these guys each and every week, prove all the doubters wrong and just play our game. The one thing that sticks out about this team in comparison to the last two teams I was on here is the way that the bond that we have together is just so strong, and it's truly incredible. And I feel like that's what's carried us on this 10-game winning streak now into this 11-1 record, into this spot to play Indiana in front of the best fans in America next on Friday.
I think during the course of a season, there's always that point where something clicks in for a team, and maybe that was the loss to Northern Illinois in week 2. And I'm just wondering, from your perspective and your teammates and the coach's perspective, what changed after that loss to Northern Illinois? Why did you guys all of a sudden, right after that game, say, okay, that's it, enough playing around, and let's go march towards a championship here?
Yeah, Coach Freeman does an incredible job of motivating us and giving really good messages every week. And week 3 after that game was Purdue, and the message was to keep the pain. Keep the pain that you had when the clock hit 0 and we lost 16-14. Keep that pain every single day in everything you do, whether that be a lift, whether that be a practice, whether that be film, school, whatever. Keep the pain in everything that you do. And that's basically been the message every single week. We keep the pain in everything that we do here to try to help this team and this program achieve team glory every week.
I don't know, from your perspective, how much film you have seen on Indiana in terms of getting ready special teams wise, but can you kind of break down what you guys are going to be facing tomorrow night in this Indiana team?
Yeah. Obviously I've really only been watching most of the special team stuff. They have a really good field goal block. It's kind of funny because there's only 31 clips you can watch of their field goal block because they've had so much success and won games by large margins.
Mm-hmm.
So that they're, I feel like that'll be a challenge. They have really good punt team, really good kicker, one of my really good friends who I've trained with for a really long time. So they're a good team. They're a bunch of players who have transferred in from other places who were successful at the FCS level and were successful at James Madison, where the head coach was previously. So it's a bunch of really good players who work really hard, who are very experienced, and we're excited to compete versus them.
I know, for you, and complete transparency to everybody who's watching, Reno is actually a friend of the Schwartz family because for those who don't know the story, Reno trained my son Bradley, worked with him, coached him up on the side as far as being a long snapper, and it certainly helped because Bradley is now at Western Connecticut State as their starting long snapper. So full transparency there about the relationship between me and Reno. And I know for you, this was a dream come true for you to be able to go play in Notre Dame, and you were patient for your first 2 years with the Fighting Irish. How special has this season been for you to get that opportunity to be on the field, run through that tunnel, run up those steps, hit that sign there at Notre Dame Stadium and be able to play for the Irish?
It's a dream come true. Every week, I just, right before the game starts, I just look around and I say, wow, all the hours of hard work you put in, in today's nature and in the nature of today's world of college football with NIL and the transfer portal, there's so many people who choose to leave, and I chose to stay for the last 2 years and wait my time, work hard in the weight room, work hard in academics, do all the right things. And now I'm so fortunate to be in this position that I am. I've started the last 12 games and now going to play in the college football playoff, getting to play home twice at MetLife Stadium and then getting to play Yankee Stadium in front of over 75 family and friends. It's truly incredible. It's all a dream come true. But at the same time, as cool as it all is, just trying to stay in the moment through it all and focus on everything day by day, one thing at a time. So like right now, I'm focused on going to get dinner after this and then getting ready to go to the hotel and get some sleep, say hi to the family, then head to sleep.
You must have seen my cheat sheet here because I was going to bring up the 2 games you played in the area at MetLife and at Yankee Stadium. And Yankee Stadium, I think more specifically, MetLife Stadium is nice, but Yankee Stadium's obviously got the history, even though it's not the same Yankee Stadium that the Giants played in back in the day. But both of those games for you had to be just so cool to be able to, not just suit up for Notre Dame, but to be able to play in your own backyard.
Yeah. The funny part is I've never been. I'm a diehard Mets fan. Been to over 30 to 40 Mets games in my entire life at Citi Field. I'd never been to Yankee Stadium.
Wow.
And enough, over this past May when I was home for 3 weeks, I bought a $5 Yankee ticket for me and my brother, and we went to go see the stadium strictly because I didn't want the first time I was there, right, to be this whole crazy moment of shock, right? Because I've never seen
Yeah.
it. So we did that over the summer. So both of those games are so awesome, though. Again, as a diehard Giants fan, being able to go to MetLife Stadium, I was there when I literally like on the field, like pointing out exactly where I sat in the 42nd row, where Odell in the corner of the end zone that Odell Beckham made the one-handed catch versus the Cowboys.
You
on
were
Sunday.
at that game?
At that game in the 42nd row, like to sit, be on the field and like stand on that spot pregame and be like, wow, this is surreal. This is really awesome. And then Yankee Stadium, like pregame, being able to see, all my family and friends and the crowd screaming and yelling. It was truly just special. But you know what, Pete, like that's why you come to Notre Dame.
Yeah.
You come to Notre Dame for opportunities like this. Obviously, there's not a lot of major college football in the great state of New York, but to think that I go to a school in Indiana and I get to come home twice right before Halloween and right before Thanksgiving and play in front of all my family and friends in two of the greatest venues in New York, in the state, in New York and New Jersey.
Mm-hmm.
It's truly incredible. And that's just that. And the crazy part is that's the normal part about this place, right?
Yeah.
You play games like that every single year and you're everybody's Super Bowl. So it's truly incredible. It really was.
We have a few minutes left with Notre Dame long snapper Reno Monteforte, who was a Long Island product, went to Kellenberg High School, and it was, at Kellenberg where you prepared yourself for a career in college football and continued to hone your skills in long snapping, and you get to carry the banner for Kellenberg High School running out onto that field for Notre Dame. How special was your time with Kellenberg, and do you stay in touch with your old coaches and teammates?
Yeah, I still stay in touch with many of my coaches and my teammates. It was funny enough. So my mom took a bus of 55 people to the game from North Babylon to the Bronx, whereas there were about 15 Kellenberg teachers and their families took a school bus to go to the game. So I got to see many of them there. I'm super grateful for my time at Kellenberg.
Mm-hmm.
I'm biased, but I truly believe it's the best Catholic high school on Long Island. I think it's the best possible spot for any student athlete to excel in so many different ways and different fields. So I'm super grateful for everyone there. Still keep in touch with many of my coaches, in particular my Shoppa coach and my lineman coach, Joe Citrano, who's a really big mentor to me. And then every single person in that building has made some sort of impact on my life. And I'm truly grateful for that place. Like I said, I'm biased, but I believe it's the best Catholic high school on Long Island.
I wanted to ask you about the position itself, because obviously, Bradley was going through recruiting, and we would get this from parents all the time and people in the business. It's amazing how many people don't understand that long snapping has become a specialized position. In fact, I was doing the show Sports Bash out at the Super Bowl last year, and I had Chris Rubio on the show, and we were having this conversation. We were talking about that video, that Zoom call that Bill Belichick had about long snapping when he answered a question about it, a few years ago. There just seems to be this, growing attempt to try and convince everybody, and they should be convinced, that long snapping is a legitimate position. Do you still fight that battle all the time? Like when people say to you, well, what position do you play? And you say you're a long snapper. Do you still get that little pushback? Like, that's a position?
Yeah, I still, the pushback's always going to be there, but at the same time, again, I can't speak for anywhere else, but I could say here, like, we do the same lifts, we do the same runs as all the other guys do. We do the same practice time, do all that stuff, and you get all the same perks. So at the same, right, like, you're still putting in just as much work as anybody else does. Obviously myself and you with Bradley being your son, we're biased, but again, you fight those battles all the time, but at the same time, it's just believing in yourself, and regardless of what anybody's going to say, knowing that your hard work means something, right? Like,
yeah.
I know that, like, every time I go out there's points on the line, and if I don't do my job, those points will not be scored. And I believe that what I do is super important, because if I didn't, right, then why would I work hard at it? So I'm a true believer that what I do on the field is super important. And if anybody wants to say anything, let them say whatever. Like, it really doesn't.
Absolutely. I have to ask you, this is a self-serving question. What were your thoughts on training Bradley, coaching him up, getting him ready to go to college, and your thoughts on his freshman year at WestCon? I'm sure you saw all the video he sent you.
Yeah, man, I'm proud of him. To go.
Well, you know what, Reno, hold that thought for a second. Don't tell me that. Why don't you tell Bradley that? Because he's sitting right next to me.
What's up, man? How are you doing?
What's going on?
Nah. Oh, wow. That's funny. Good catch for sure. Love the Islanders gear too.
Okay, now you can answer the question.
Yeah, man. Again, I know I'm speaking directly to him, boss. I'll act like I'm saying it for the cameras. Like I'm proud of the kid. You know, he throughout everything he's gone through, right? He worked really hard, did everything that everyone asked him to do, and to what. Just to watch you go out on the field, Bradley, and like watch film every week of you playing, man, it makes me happy. Because like I stated at the beginning, like Brett, like you guys took a chance on me. As soon as I committed to Notre Dame, I started coaching long snapping. You were the first person I ever coached, and I was and as much knowledge as I have, you know, you're very clueless. You don't know how to handle things not nearly as well as I do now. Now that I'm 3.5 years into it, so man, I'm proud of you. I'm proud of all your work, man. It's been awesome to see from afar. And, you know, hopefully, you know, we make it all the way that I don't see you till March, then we can finally snap then.
Yeah, for sure.
You have anything to say to him?
You remember that first session, right? Some of those videos?
Yeah, man, you threw the ball over my head a lot.
Yeah. came a long way in 2 years.
Come a long way, man.
That's awesome. Anything else? You don't want to thank him?
That's
like
you know,
that?
I'm you know, from mentor to mentor, I'm proud of you too, Reno. You know, it's been awesome watching you this year. You know, that not many people can say that they could turn on an FBS football game and they know someone on the field. You know, it's just been really cool to watch those games and see what you've been able to do this year. And it's just been phenomenal. You know, I really hope you guys go till March also. And you know, when you're home, we'll definitely snap again.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate it. You know, day by day.
Reno, just to wrap it up, thanks for coming on the show. Good luck tomorrow night against Indiana, and hopefully we're talking about a nice long run by you and the Fighting Irish towards the College Football Playoff National Championship.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much. Go Irish.
Reno Monteforte, long snapper for the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame. They take on Indiana Friday night, 8 o'clock Eastern Time at Notre Dame, at South Bend on ABC. So that's something to look forward to. And, of course, he is the pride of Kellenberg High School here on Long Island. Still more to come. When we come back on Sports Bash, we'll play Stump the Wiz. We'll look at this week in sports history. We'll check out the Sports Bash Media Poll Question of the Day. It's all coming up when Sports Bash returns right after this. Good. Okay.
Hi, I'm Peter Schwartz.
And I'm Vinny Tickets.
We want to take a moment to talk about our fantastic sponsor, the Embassy Diner.
Embassy Diner has been a beloved staple in the restaurant industry for over 50 years. And the great thing about it is when you walk through the door, you're not a customer. You are family. Every visit promises to be filled with warmth, love, and respect.
And here's an extra treat. If you mention Sports Bash during your visit, you enjoy a free dessert on the Embassy Diner.
Come on down to the Embassy Diner, where great food and great company are always on the menu.
Visit the Embassy Diner, located at 4280 Hempstead Turnpike in Bethpage.
Living Legends Memorabilia and Collectibles is the best place to find autographed entertainment and sports memorabilia. We guarantee the authenticity of each and every item in our shop to provide you with quality collectibles anytime you browse our inventory. Our memorabilia includes autographed photos, sports equipment, jerseys, hats, and other paraphernalia from current athletes and legendary sports stars. If you prefer the entertainment industry, we have signed posters, albums, and photographs from classic movie stars and today's celebrities. To give back to our community, we participate in fundraising auctions for local charities. Call us today to request a specific autograph, find a special gift for someone else, or schedule an event. Living Legends Memorabilia and Collectibles.
Welcome back to Sports Bash, presented by TicketBash.com and the Ryan Anthony Head Start Fund. Don't forget to follow Sports Bash Media and Govs Comedy Club podcasts on YouTube, and follow us on Facebook. And if you follow Governor's Comedy Club podcast on YouTube, you have a chance to follow along the show. If you don't want to call in at 516-465-3990, you can always chat along with us as the show moves along. Thanks to my guest on the show, Notre Dame long snapper Reno Monteforte. Good luck to the Fighting Irish tomorrow night against Indiana in the first round of the College Football Playoff. Well, as you heard me on the open explode about the New York Jets and the continued dysfunction of this franchise, on the line with us to talk about it and the story in The Athletic today about even more nonsense from Jets owner Woody Johnson is my good friend and a great friend of the show, a repeat guest on Sports Bash. Here's Robbie Sabo from Jets X Factor. Robbie, it's Peter. Happy holidays, and thanks for joining us.
Yes, same with you. Thanks for having me. Two things. Right when I hear your voice, it's one of those comforting voices. It's like, that's the voice I grew up with right there. That's one. And did I just hear you say you had a long snapper on?
Yes,
Did I hear that correctly?
the Notre Dame long snapper, Reno Monteforte, who my son Bradley trains with during the offseason, and is kind of like his private coach, so to speak, sometimes, and he plays at Notre Dame, and we had him on the show to talk about tomorrow night against Indiana.
Love the long snapper love. I mean, I can't get enough of
Well,
it.
and that brings me to another point. I'll get to it, then we'll get to the Jets nonsense, but you became a high school coach, and you had a New York State championship, so tell everybody about that.
Yeah, shout out Port Jervis, New York. My Damian Straharski, who's the head coach, who took over in 2019, immediately called me and knew I'd be interested because I'd love to coach. But I told him, I said, Damian, I don't have time. I got Jets X Factor. I cover the Jets, do all these things. So we worked out a way where I could do it part-time. I could be up in the booth on the headset, game plan, through Huddle. Huddle's a great site where we can watch the film, do everything that we need. And I mean, the class we had this year, it wasn't even close to the most talented class that we've had in 6 years. Yet the heart they showed, the fight, the grit, the willingness to be coached, shout out to them. They were tremendous, and I'm thrilled for everyone involved.
Yeah, congratulations on that. Now that you've got coaching experience, do you feel like buying the Jets and straightening them out?
Tell you what, lend me some money, and I'll think about it.
As long as you hire me for like some sort of role with the franchise.
What do you want to do? Any job?
Well, I don't want to. I'm not one to take somebody else's job, so I don't want to like boot Bob Wischusen out of the booth. But I think something on the communications, website side would be good for me.
Give me the billions that it takes, and we could work something out. You get an interview.
An interview. There you go. That's good. That's all I want is a foot in the door. Yeah. You've seen the Athletic story today with all the latest stuff about the proposed Jerry Jeudy trade. Your website, Jets X Factor, got brought up because apparently Woody's kids, read it and watch it, and they basically tell him what's going on. Your reaction to the Athletic story, and could you have paid for any better advertising than you got today?
I mean, yeah, that last point is definitely true. We'll take the publicity anytime. That's for sure. I wouldn't exactly call it a blog, but hey, this is a big boy business. I get why they do that. Their intent is to hammer Woody, and I understand why. He's made mistakes, so they're gonna go with blog instead of a site. We're credentialed. We have an editorial process. We have podcasts. We have videos. So I get it. But there are so many angles. Listen, Woody, he's made mistakes, and I think there's valid criticism for criticizing and calling out those mistakes. He can't run from that. That is something that he has to own. But at the same time, we have to be careful when digging into these details. Some of these details I don't even care about. I care about the fact that we're at this point. And being at this point tells me that he made mistakes. And he's got to look in the mirror and realize that. That's number one. Number two, if these leaks are coming from damage control, quote unquote, from former employees, and we know who they are, perhaps the head coach, perhaps the GM.
It's got to be where it's coming from. Robbie, it's got to be where it's coming from.
Those camps, and if that's the case, then how could anyone say he didn't make the right decision in the end in getting rid of those guys? Because they're not practicing what they preach the entire time being with the Jets in terms of integrity and genuineness and all that stuff. So listen, in today's black and white world where you just have to hop on one train or the other, I'm not going to do that. I think Woody made mistakes, and I think Saleh and Douglas are doing a terrible job right now if they are indeed the unnamed sources.
So if we take it at that surface that, all right, maybe Woody was justified in getting rid of Saleh and subsequently Douglas. Now they're on the search for a brand new general manager and ultimately a new head coach. Is it possible now, because now, and we talked about this off the air earlier today, is it possible now that we're only hearing about GM candidates right now? And I've been on this soapbox that Woody's got to stop trying to have these shotgun marriages where you hire the GM and the coach at the same time, or you're too involved in telling the GM who to go after. Is it reasonable to be optimistic that perhaps maybe Woody has come to his senses here and said, okay, let's hire the GM and then let the GM go and hire the coach?
Reasonably so, yes, I think so, because if we look at it fairly, and I know the temperature is hot right now, but if we look at it fairly...
Yeah, I'm fuming.
Yeah, I get it. Trust me, I get it. It's, our entire audience, is made up of Jets fans, so I understand completely. But if we look at it objectively, to me, the Rex Hogan firing was really the first salvo, like the start of it all last winter, about a year ago now, in which he started getting involved. And I think that was his mistake, half-weighing it. If you lost confidence and trust in these guys, you have to pull the trigger. You can't be nuanced in that regard.
Mm-hmm.
Coaching Port, the head coach, Damian Jaharski, I sent a note on social media after we won it all. And to paraphrase, I said, listen, football has to be a hierarchy. There has to be a clear leader who is genuine at the top. Yet, and it has to be a dictatorship, yet it can't run like a dictatorship.
Yeah.
So Woody has to be the clear guy at the top, yet he also has to be genuine in the fact that he knows what's right for the organization, and that is him not meddling. So prior to last year, it's going to be hard to argue that he meddled prior to that. In Douglas's previous 3 years when he was there, and then 5 years before that when Christopher was there. So I think it's a fair expectation.
Robbie Sabo from Jets X Factor is my guest here on Sports Bash. A few more minutes with Robbie, and we have some other stuff to get to, but still more to come here on the Jets. And I mentioned that they're in the middle of this search for a general manager. Thomas Dimitroff, the former Falcons GM, is one of the candidates that has been interviewed. What are your thoughts so far on the interview process for the GM, and where do you think what road do you think the Jets will go down?
To your point, wanting the GM first, I agree. It reminds me of the 96 into the 97 offseason with Leon Hess throwing his hands up and saying, Bill Parcells, come save us. Show me how to do it.
Mm-hmm.
So in that vein, I like that he's bringing in guys already. Now this is going to be an exhibition preseason run, kind of. It counts still, but these are guys that are available. They can't talk to anyone else yet. They got to wait until late January or when teams start getting eliminated. So I like the idea of Dimitroff. I like Vrabel. They have loose ties both with New England, that organization. So I think it's an excellent start. And
Jim Robinson, the former Titans GM, is one of the candidates also,
yes.
Right?
Yeah, Robinson and Vrabel have ties also. I don't know where their relationship stands based on some of the things that happened towards the end there, the A.J. Brown deal being one of them. I heard some of it is overblown, like they might not have the fondest feelings for one another, but I wouldn't read too much into that. I'm just not sure. But Dimitroff, I think Dimitroff and Vrabel are the two names that I'm high on most so far.
And here's the other big question in Jetland, and this can be debated. I mean, we could talk for an hour about whether Aaron Rodgers should come back next year. And I'm in the camp where if you're going to bring in a legit competent general manager and a legit competent head coaching staff, when you look at the totality of this roster and the talent that has been assembled, I would run it back with Aaron Rodgers next year, especially if you could get him to take a pay cut. You bring Davante Adams back, you see the chemistry they still have. I would bring Aaron Rodgers back if you can meet the requirements of having, adults in the room running the team. What do you think?
Well, see, my stance is this. Let's not rule it out one way or the other. We don't know who the 2025 Jets are yet. And we won't know until we know who the leaders are running the thing. And that's the head coach, most importantly, and the GM in the front office. I mean, yes, I'd rather have the GM hire the head coach, but you get my point. In terms of on the field, locker room, the head coach is the real leader. And I think, listen, I'm still a huge Douglas fan. Even though there's a possibility that he's involved in these sources, I think he did a hell of a job personnel-wise.
He also drafted Zach Wilson, Robbie. He also drafted Zach Wilson.
He missed. He missed on Zach. He missed on Becton. But when you compare it against other teams and their drafts and their personnel changes, it's pretty damn impressive. And today's new league, since the Bradford draft, these quarterbacks keep going higher and higher and higher, and they're lotto tickets because GMs know it's not a hefty salary. You could take a chance and miss and move on. Trey Lance, Pickett, the list is endless. But listen, Douglas is not perfect. I think he did a great job. I think his failure was being in the foxhole with Saleh and not going to ownership and saying, hey, we have the wrong coach and it's my fault.
Yeah.
But we'll see. We'll see how it plays out.
And last thing, tell everybody about Jets X Factor. We know it's not a blog. That was a mischaracterization of The Athletic. So tell everybody about Jets X Factor, what you guys do, and how people can consume your content.
Yeah, we dedicated over 500,000 dedicated Jets fans each month, sometimes 750, even a million. It's all we try to do is bring effort and quality to the table from a football perspective, film focused analytics. I'm a coach, so I love that stuff. We try not to get into the source game. And, we just do what we can. Andrew Fialco's a great film guy. Joe Blewett, Michael Nania, Rivka Board. So check it out. I think Jets fans will love it.
Awesome. Robbie, can't thank you enough. Best, happiest, safe holiday season. Happy New Year to you and your family, and thank you for joining me on Late Notice today.
You as well. Thanks, guys.
Awesome. Robbie Sabo from Jets X Factor. We'll have to have him on again. When the offseason comes up, by that point, hopefully the Jets will have a GM and a new head coach, and we could talk more about what's going on with the Jets. We have Wiz in studio with us here today. It is time for Stump the Wiz. Welcome back.
Yeah, it's always great to see you, Peter, and hear you.
Are you ready for some big holiday plans with the family?
Yeah, and this year is interesting for both me and you because Christmas and Hanukkah same day.
Absolutely, yes. First night of Hanukkah is the same as Christmas night.
Yeah.
So Santa Claus and Hanukkah Harry will be working together on that night to make sure that everybody gets their gifts under the tree or the Hanukkah bush, whatever you might want to call it.
Aren't the gifts under the menorah? Like
menorah, whatever. Listen, my kid, it doesn't make a difference where it is. It's like, where are the gifts? Where are the gifts? Doesn't matter.
What do you prefer on your luck? Is it applesauce or sour cream?
Nothing.
Oh, just by themselves?
Just by itself. Just like my pancakes, plain, nothing.
No butter.
No syrup. I get teased about this all the time. Nothing on my plain pancakes. I'm a very simple person.
So you like your mouth very dry, or do you have like a drink or something?
Well, I used to eat salad dry too because my mom, back in years ago, would give me salad with some like Thousand Island dressing on it, and at that point I said I'm gonna have my salad dry. And then I met Cheryl. Excuse me, I'm sorry. And then I met Cheryl, and she's like, how do you eat your salad dry? And I'm like, because I've always eaten it dry because I don't like salad dressing. And she got me on to other salad dressings, and now that I can have my salad dressing with...
So many. There's, vinaigrettes and oils, vinegar.
I like balsamic vinaigrette. That's probably my favorite.
Yeah. Have you ever gone to the crushed olive in Babylon?
No.
You got to go there.
No.
There's so many great oils and vinegars.
I don't like to go out of Nassau County, to be honest
with you.
Well,
there's one. There's also one in. I think there's one in Huntington also.
Yeah.
It's really good. I think you'd really, really like it.
I like Suburban Eats. They have a nice Asian salad there on 110 in Melville. So anyway, let's get the Stump the Wiz. Ready?
Okay.
So we asked people to DM your best sports trivia question to Sports Bash Media social media channels. If we pick your question and you stump the Wiz, you win a prize. Today's prize, 2 tickets to see the Islanders take on the Ottawa Senators on January 14th at UBS Arena. It's courtesy of our friends at ticketbash.com. Ready?
Yeah.
Today's contestant, David Miller. And here is the question. We're going to have 2 minutes on the clock in just a moment, Tony. With Cody Bellinger now a Yankee, he becomes, with his father Clay, the 4th father-son combination to play for the Yankees. I need you to give me the other 3 first names of both father-son of the other 3 combinations to play for the Yankees. You gave me just a look. Like, does that concern you?
No, that's a big one.
Okay. Well, you got 2 minutes. We have 2 minutes on the clock. I'm going to repeat the question one more time. With Cody Bellinger, now a Yankee, combined with his father Clay, is the 4th father-son combination to play for the Yankees. Give me the other 3. 2 minutes on the clock, and away we go.
Well, Aaron Boone played, and I think his father did also, but I think he was a Red, so I'm not sure. Dave? You gotta go back in the day for that stuff too, probably. Father-son pairing.
I'll rule out the Aaron Boone family.
Yeah, I had a feeling it wasn't. It wasn't that because I know them more like for the Reds and stuff. Daniel Boone's descendants. No, they are. I'm not joking.
I know. You've mentioned that before on the show. Cody Bellinger, Clay Bellinger, father-son combination now for the Yankees. We need the other 3 Yankee father-son combinations. Tony, do you have any idea?
Oh God.
Yeah,
I don't want you to blurt it out because it's Wiz's segment, but
there's one that I can think of right off the top of my head.
Okay,
but yeah, that's it.
We are down to a minute and 8 seconds.
Oh yeah, didn't Dale play for the
Dale who?
Dale Berra.
Yes, he did. Who's his father's name?
Yogi. Obviously.
Okay,
well, Lawrence Peter Berra.
Okay, that's one. That's one. You got 2 more to go.
Okay, I had a feeling Dale played for them.
Yes, 52 seconds to go.
This is not a father and son, but I believe Joe DiMaggio's brother Tony played for them.
Nope. Oh, yeah. Well, maybe he did, but it's not a father-son combination.
Yeah. No, he's a Red Sox, right?
Tony's looking at the answer, right?
Oh yeah, I just looked.
I just looked and I was surprised actually.
Yeah. Okay. We're down to 30 seconds to go.
Oh God. Sorry, Dave.
Would you like a hint on one of them?
Sure, why not?
One, the father was a Yankee reliever, and the son was also a Met.
I think
we are down to 7 seconds.
I think it's an old-time name.
David Miller. Looks like David Miller's going to the Islander game. 2 seconds to go, and 1. And the Wiz has been stumped. Congratulations, David Miller. You are going with someone to see the Islanders take on the Ottawa Senators on January 14th at UBS Arena, courtesy of our friends at ticketbash.com. Would you like the other names?
Sure.
Doesn't matter whether you like them or not. I was going to give them anyway. You got Yogi and Dale Berra.
Yeah, Dale. Yeah.
The other 2, Ron and Ike Davis. Ron Davis was a Yankee reliever in the 80s.
Oh, yeah,
Ike
right.
Davis was a Mets first baseman as well. Remember, he tumbled over the rail at home.
Yeah, that's right. Ike Davis played for the Yankees.
After that, for a very short time. Yeah.
I don't remember.
I didn't
that.
remember.
Very short
I didn't
time.
remember Ike Davis with the Yankees.
And the other one, Mark Leiter and Mark Leiter Jr.
Oh,
now you get it.
Oh, the Liars, yeah.
Oh, there you go.
I knew Mark played for. I knew Mark played for. I didn't know his son also played for the Yankees. Also,
Yep. Well, you get to make amends now with an outstanding edition of This Week in Sports History.
Well, how's this for baseball? In this week in 2020, the MLB decided after decades of being separated, they announced the Negro League statistics would be merged into the Major League statistics. So that means names like Josh Gibson, Oscar Charleston, Satchel Paige, so on and so forth, are integrated within MLB records. And, I like this a lot, though there's some that see it as like, you're going to mess with the numbers. I personally see, listen.
That was Cablevision calling my phone, trying to get me to upgrade my package, which I don't want to do.
You mean
go right ahead.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm down for that as well. I also, this is just a me thing, and it's fine if you disagree. I also like to integrate Japanese statistics as well. I'm very big into the NPP. Sadaharu.
Right. David Letterman used to say in Indianapolis, statistics.
Yeah, of course. I've always liked Japanese ball. I think Sadaharu is the ultimate home run king.
Yep.
People say, "Oh no, it's no, it's Sadaharu." Victor Starfin, I'm a huge fan of. Mm-hmm. I like to integrate, Ichiro Suzuki's numbers and Hideki Matsui's. I like that stuff. I've always liked Japanese baseball. I wish that was included. I've always been a big push for that kind of stuff because I think baseball, even though it may be America's pastime, I think it's also in many cases the world's national pastime.
It sure is.
I would like to integrate that all into one happy big pool of everything. That way I'd feel kind of good. But it doesn't. For me, it's like you can integrate it if you don't need MLB's approval for it. Like, I've always kind of seen it as Major League too. Same with Japan. Yep. I've always seen it as Major League.
Well done. Thank you very much. It's now time for the Sports Bash Media poll question of the day. We post a new poll question every weekday on the Sports Bash Media X/Twitter page. Here's today's question. who would be the best first base option for the Yankees right now? And we give you 4 choices. Pete Alonso, Christian Walker, Carlos Santana, or other. Comment below. And again, I say this over and over and over again. If you pick other, comment below. Please comment below, because otherwise I don't know who you're voting for.
As long as you're not voting for Rizzo.
No, that's down. That ship has sailed.
Yeah.
Pete Alonso, Christian Walker, Carlos Santana, and other. And the poll question of the day brought to you by Living Legends Memorabilia in Rockville Center. The Living Legends item of the week is a Mets 16 by 20 1986 autograph photo. We looked at it the other day. It's a beautiful, beautiful piece. So make sure you give Warren a call at Living Legends 516-826-4000 and get that item of the week. Now, some business to take care of here at the end of the show. Different schedule next week because the holiday schedule here at Governor's Comedy Club podcasts will change a little bit because there's going to be some time off. Next week, because of Christmas and Hanukkah, we will have Sports Bash on Monday, December 23rd at 3 p.m. That's this Monday, December 23rd at a special time of 3 o'clock. On that show, again, I kind of teased this the other day. We're not quite sure, but I am in negotiations and discussions with a former NFL MVP to be on the show on Monday. He may or may not have blonde hair. You may or may not know him from playing for a local team and being on television, but we are in discussions with a former NFL MVP to be a guest on the show Monday. He's going to let me know tomorrow what his schedule looks like. So we'll see. If we have to pre-tape, we'll pre-tape. We'll see what happens. Also on the show Monday, I'll be joined by Keegan Krasny, who's brand coordinator for Upper Deck. We're going to talk about their new UFL cards and the sports trading card industry in whole. I'm a huge card collector, as are my kids. We love going to card shows, so we're going to talk to Keegan about that on Monday. Friday, December 27th, that's next Friday. We'll be on at our regular time, just a day later than normal, at 1 o'clock next Friday. So that's that. We don't have a guest scheduled yet. Just stay on our socials. We'll let you know. Tuesday, January 7th. Very excited about this. Tentatively scheduled to be joined by former Islanders great Brent Sutter, who will be inducted into the Islanders Hall of Fame on January 18th, where the Islanders host the Sharks at UBS Arena. Well, that was an action-packed show.
Absolutely.
We did a lot on that show.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a very, very big show.
Tremendous. That'll do it for this edition of Sports Bash, presented by Ticketbash.com. Thanks to my guests on the show, Reno Monteforte and Robbie Sabo. Also, big thanks to the Yankees and my leaders at WFAN for making it possible for me to go to the Yankees press conference yesterday and talking to Max Fried and Aaron Boone and Brian Cashman for the piece that you saw earlier in the show. So thank you very much for that. And also the clips of me outside Yankee Stadium for that piece, shot by my son Bradley Schwartz. So kudos to Bradley for doing that. Sports Bash is presented by Ticketbash.com. Ryan Anthony Head Start Fund. Sports Bash is sponsored by the Embassy Diner in Bethpage, by Living Legends Memorabilia in Rockville Center, by Bearcat Billing Service, the Marty Lyons Foundation, and Collaborate Studios. Big thanks to my buddy on the right, Tony Walker, everybody here at Governor's Comedy Club in Levittown, for our entire crew. Have a great weekend. Thanks for watching. We'll see you Monday at 3 o'clock.